Hello, boys and girls, it's your boy King Jiffy Colts, also known as Jeff, and this is Nat One Games Ben over here. Guy's an absolute G. Anyways, we're gonna be doing a little bit of reading creepypastas here on this channel. This is The Haunted Router. And yes, we are a ripoff of Creepcast, so you gotta do what you gotta do. I feel like there's enough people slow jerking it in the corner, waiting for somebody else to take something up, to be that waiting room for the Creepcast guys, and I guess we'll be that. I mean, I'm fat and smelly, Meat Canyon's fat and smelly. I can't draw, but who can? I mean, Meat Canyon kind of sucks at it. I'm just kidding, much love. But I'm gonna let Ben tell you what we're reading today.
So, today is going to be, I am a guard stationed at a secret government prison. A few hours ago, there was a major breach. It comes to us from Mr. Outlaw, a supposedly famed no-sleep author, you said, right?
Yeah, this guy's,
this guy makes the rounds and stuff? Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we actually recorded this once before. We jumped in, we were like, we're gonna do the thing, we're gonna be big wiener swingers into the YouTube industry, and we didn't, like, do a good job at all. Like, it wasn't even that the podcast failed or anything, like, it was the fact that...
amazing conversation. We spent, like, 4 hours on voice chat, having, like, the time of our lives.
4 hours.
Not one moment of technical scrutiny.
Yeah, and we didn't think about any of that type of stuff. My end, I had all the footage saved, but my OBS wasn't recording my voice. On his end, he didn't save any of it.
I didn't press record at all, it turns out. Which, you know what? Let me double check. We are streaming. Okay.
Yeah, right, we are streaming. We're good. It's all saving. We double checked it this time. But yeah, Mr. Outlaw is a big
to re-record. There are benefits though.
Oh, you got a whiteboard. We got the window.
I'm going to explain the rules to it in a second and explain how it's going to go. But yes, this is actually, I think that we'll actually hit it a little bit better the first time. You're not getting the same organic reactions because this shit was making my head explode. And Jeff was just dragging me through it, man. He's like, are you liking it so far? Are you liking it? Are you vibing with it? And it just kept getting better and better and better from there. And I'm like, dude, you picked the perfect thing for us to start this on.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really fun story, and I mean, Mr. Outlaw's been doing this for a while. I mean, if you pull up his page, he actually is still writing horror stories between his times where he's talking about MMA. So if you look at his replies, it's all MMA replies. But he's posted, I think the last story he posted was like a few weeks ago, to be honest. I think it was a few weeks ago. So he's still posting, he's still up. The guy, go make sure to go give him some love, I guess. I guess he's writing a book. Maybe that'll be cool. I mean, if it's anything like this story, it's gonna be goofy as heck. But anyway, we got a wild ride to get ahead of, so we might as well.
I almost hope this is the novel.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool.
Sick audio recording,
as
we're about to demonstrate.
Really would. But you want to take us away, Ben?
Who's the worst, most despicable person you can think of? Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, Louis Garavito, Pol Pot.
Hey, hold on. Who's Pol Pot?
Pol Pot was the Cambodian communist dictator of Cambodia. He was a Cambodian, if you can believe that, who led the Khmer Rouge.
He was a dang commie?
Oh, he was a dang commie, he was, like, competing with Mao Zedong and Stalin to see who could kill and repress their people the most.
Oh, dude, that's always a win.
He's definitely up there in the running, man.
Who won? Do we have like a...
Stalin by a fucking... Oh my god,
Stalin
miles. Oh yeah, for like sheer body count for the memes and stuff like that. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that Stalin pretty much clinches it. Mao comes in second, but Pol Pot is a respectable third. He had a lot less that he was working with, but I think that making the law that like everybody in your country with glasses gets put to death because they look too smart is
So that was Pol Pot?
That's one for the history books.
That was Pol Pot?
That was Pol Pot.
Glasses got you killed.
Yes, glasses got you killed. Absolutely.
My wife
College degree,
dude.
Literacy got you killed.
Oh, dude, my wife would have been cooked. I would have been fine. She married the fattest retard she could find. She pulled me out of a gutter. I was just like ass up, and she just pulled me out of a gutter. So I would have been fine. But my wife would have had no chance at all. But we'll get back to it. Sorry.
No, you're fine. We'll do. Honestly, man, I could do history all day long. But anyway, all right. So, Pol Pot aside, of course, you could make your own arguments for any one of them or anybody else for that matter. Yet, all of those people have one thing in common: they're human. Preposterous people trying to act like monsters, either due to lofty, ridiculous ideals or some primal urge to revolt against society as a whole. It's quite the bizarre phenomenon. Yet, none of these admittedly sick people have truly fallen into the abyss. Perhaps they've stared down into it, dipped their feet in, but none of them have taken the plunge as a whole. Despite their efforts, they weren't able to separate themselves from the inherent humanity. But that's a good thing. That's where they were relatively easy to take down. The bad news is that every once in a while, special cases will arise. In our circles, we call these individuals the void people, or just the voids. Individuals so far gone that they can hardly be considered humans anymore. The cause behind these entities, well, I wouldn't know. Nobody really does. Maybe they were born with that latent potential. Maybe they underwent some obscure supernatural transformation. Maybe their experiments gone awry. Aliens from another planet. Shit, maybe they're literal demons from hell brought here by some fool who just had to conduct some fucked up ritual. Who the hell knows? The only detail that matters is the fact that they exist, and dealing with them is more than a bitch. I'm sure you're familiar with the concept of max security prisons, places where drug kingpins, terrorists, and prolific serial killers, etc. are sent. The place is meant to contain the worst amongst humans. Well, those are a joke compared to where the voids are kept. At a pair of undisclosed coordinates built in the underground of a tiny island somewhere deep in the Atlantic, there exists a prison unlike anything you could imagine. We simply call it the Chasm.
It's not the 90s FPS game. I want to just clarify that. It's not the 90s FPS game. For anybody who knows anything about the Chasm, what a stupid game. But it's
also, I want us to internalize that he's saying here that this is like miles underwater somewhere or underground.
It's underground. Underground
on a tiny island somewhere deep in the Atlantic. I was conflating these things so hard last time.
The way I see it, that prison where they put all the bad guys in, like the DC universe.
Yeah, definitely.
It's some South American like poop hole place that's like, dude, it's Venezuela. Isn't it Venezuela? Or which one was the one that was like the thing where they send everybody?
Well, we got Guam.
El Salvador.
Oh, El Salvador, dude.
Yeah,
yes.
it's El Salvador.
The chasm is built down underneath El Salvador.
Yeah, dude, this is built underneath the El Salvador prison.
On the flip side, it could be
the chasm.
We're sending all of the bad guys to the chasm. The beautiful chasm.
The greatest chasm.
We have the biggest chasms.
Deepest chasms. Diddy really likes my chasm. It's a great chasm.
And I like his too. He's got a nice chasm.
Nice chasm. He likes to watch mostly, but good chasm.
Flip side of this is that it could be built underneath like where a bunch of like resorts and shit are. Like this could be like underneath Bermuda where there's like just white sands and like families running around and stuff like that.
Prison
and like
break happens and they just bust up and see some like rich white lady's vagina. It's just like
they just come right up between the legs. Yeah,
it's like
oh hello.
It's like a like Spaceballs type thing. Oh! She's just on the toilet for some reason because everybody's always on the toilet whenever there's a break.
Dude, you're definitely going up through the toilets, man.
Yeah,
like,
that's the only way.
Yeah,
that's the only
absolutely.
way.
Collective evil that would surely yield humanity's extinction in a couple of months if it were allowed to run rampant in the world. Let me emphasize this a bit further. The individuals that require being held there are not merely criminally insane. They're criminally, absolutely, out of this universe, fucking bonkers. Fantastic verbiage.
Oh, he's so good. This is so Reddit, by the way. This is like a very, very Reddit story. Like I also love the fact that it's just like I'm gonna throw a lot of $3 words at you. You're gonna run your bank account dry, and it's like good writing. Absolutely fucking bonkers.
Absolutely fucking bonkers. That's the scientific term we use in the Chasm.
Yeah, you know, I mean, most scientists use that term. I mean, when Einstein dropped a nuke, he was just like, the bonkers! And
it's gonna be fucking bonkers, man. I will tell you, it's gonna be bonkers. And that's why they did it.
Man, exactly, 100% agree.
Of course, you and I wouldn't know any about this. Why would we? Why would us? Why would you? There we go. I'll just read it correctly. The government would probably sacrifice 1,000 children before they divulge a single detail about the place to a person without high enough clearance. As if sacrificing 1,000 children isn't like the daily there.
Exactly.
But you know, that's just how they are. All right, confirmed. We're gonna say that's one thing I want to point out. We're gonna say a lot of things that are going to come true a few sentences later, and I fucking love that. Before I came, and this isn't from us reading it the first time. Those are just our reactions. Before I came, there were exactly 32 being confined here, save for 2 that were still being actively pursued through the Brazilian underground and Russian tundra, respectively. That was about all of them in the world. At least, we assumed that was all of them. You can't be sure about anything these days. Each holding cell was fortified to hell, specifically designed to counter and contain the respective void they were holding. If they managed to escape, there were 8 drones armed with Gatling guns, blades, grenades, and rockets waiting for them within a large chamber. If they managed to break through that, then 20 guards in mechanized suits would have to step in. However, everybody understood the futility of that protocol. Those guards were getting slaughtered in seconds, regardless of the void they went up against. Maybe minutes if they were really skilled. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure why any of us regular guards were stationed here at all. Bureaucracy, I guess. Who knows what the government's thinking. If the situation were ever to get too drastic, then there was really only one feasible countermeasure in place. A last resort, so to speak. The higher-ups would have to call in something known as Task Force Void Nova Hammer, or TFVNH for short.
The worst name ever. It's the worst name ever. It is the worst name ever.
I was going to wait until we got to a void for this, but you know what?
You're F tier? We're F tiering it right away. It's out of names. It's in the F tier. That's how it's all the name. You're putting all the names in tiers. I see how we're doing it. No,
if the name is respectable enough and we can find a place for it easily up here, then we can even add like NPCs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I'm saying right now, this is what I got in Guantanamo when I had a little jaunt down there. I got TFVNH. It makes you shoot blood straight out of the tip of your wiener. Like, it's like sprays. Melts bars, so that's how I'm able to do this podcast.
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, the offensive and defensive capabilities of this.
It was really good. It was really good, but it definitely killed my liver, and I had to steal one from, like, some child in Ethiopia. But it happens.
I imagine you have to drink a lot of body armors to cancel out all the acid going through you, through your kidneys.
I'm more of a Prime guy. I'm just
dude, absolutely. Yeah. What am I saying, dude? Not based
Prime
on
is battery acid, bro. That shit's garbage.
For the sake of this, unless we want to just choke out this thing, we're just going to call them the Hammer, because that is way more
better than the acronym that's harder to say than the actual name.
I've never seen them in action before, nor do I know much about them. Not that I really want to, though. If you ever find yourself witnessing them in person, then that must mean you're having a bad day. So, why am I disclosing all of this uber-classified information that would either get me killed or thrown in the deepest hole conceivable, the Chasm, for the rest of my short life? Well, I'd estimate there's about a 90% chance that I'm going to die by the end of today. Even if I do make it out of this fiasco, my life's never really going to be the same. So, fuck it. Here we go. So, already setting the scene, we're deep underground, secret government facility, lines and lines of defense around all of these guys. What could go wrong?
It's a lot of exposition for they're going to destroy everything. That's absolutely what's going to happen, dude.
The only reason you set up this many walls is to start kicking them in.
I mean, this is literally just the buffer. I mean, this is that part where it's like, step bro, I dropped my socks. So crazy, our parents got married in Panama 14 years ago. And it... and you're like,
this is the first time your like eyes are bugging, and it's like, what's this?
I care so much about this, but I mean, like, I do like the way this guy writes and like builds the world, even though it's cringe. It is very like it's very imaginative, I guess is the best way to put it.
This whole time, while he's narrating these details and stuff like that, I think that we're like going down the elevator and we're like joining and stuff like that. Like this is like at the beginning of Half-Life when you're riding the Amtrak in and stuff like, and you're getting all of the voiceover type stuff.
Thing ever.
Yes, I know, dude. The fucking compared to Doom intro where it's like, zombie, shoot it! Like,
dude, well, even like Half-Life, or what is it, Black Mesa? Black Mesa had like made it actually interesting. You weren't just staring at the same thing for 47 minutes, but that's a whole different discussion.
Right.
Where I get stuck on hating Half-Life and everybody gets mad at me.
But absolutely, this is Stepsis heading for the dryer right now.
Exactly.
The bell just dinged.
It's the dryer.
My day started out. My day started out more or less normal. I was part of the unit guarding somebody named Jim Henninger.
Yeah.
Well, that was his real name. Doesn't evoke a lot of fear, does it? That's why we had to call him something else. I like that they feel the need to substitute a name in to make him more scary. That is really funny to me. Since he used to be some psychosurgeon or something, we've dubbed him the Surgeon. Really creative stuff, I know.
I don't know if you know about this guy, but he's the surgeon. He's really scary. His name is Jim Henry.
Oh, absolutely.
He would have been just scary if they were like, fucking Jim's back. Jim's back. You better hold your pantalones, boy, because Jim is gonna come get you. He's got a scalpel, and he looks like, dude, what's the guy from the movie The Pianist? The one with the weird nose. Adrian Brody.
No, Adrian Brody.
He looks
dude,
like
that's what
Adrian
I was
Brody. If Adrian Brody had a meth problem.
That's actually, I'm picturing him like that. Only now he's standing only at 5'7", so
I
short.
I can read these. Let me read the.
Oh
the
yeah,
people
you're right.
address
You're right.
I want to do dialogue, but this is awesome. Standing at 5'7", 171 centimeters, and 135 pounds, 61 kilograms. We needed the kilograms. We're missing the stones. We are all required to memorize their physical stats. He doesn't look like much. However, if you ever find yourself in the same room with him, no matter how big or tough you are, you're getting dissected or something. The main danger surrounding him, it stems from the fact that he seems to be able to teleport on will. 1 second you'll be staring in his dark eyes, dark lifeless eyes, and after one blink he'll disappear in a cloud of black haze. Not purple haze. It's not that Jim.
No.
It's not that Jim Hendrix or Henderson.
Not red haze.
Yeah.
Where it'd be like demonic or something.
Yeah, no. It's gotta be black. Only to end up breathing right down your neck. For that reason, he's gotta be at least 10. Gotta have at least 10 sets of eyes on the monitor at all times. There's no way around it. If he's not being watched, he will escape.
We were talking about this last time.
What a loser.
First off, what a loser.
What a loser.
Comparatively, oh, never mind. I don't want to spoil too much. Never mind.
Wait, hold on. Actually, I want to change the way he looks. You ever play Yu-Gi-Oh?
Mm-hmm.
There's that one guy that's like holding the orb, and he's got like his brain exposed, and I can't remember what the card looked like. Somebody will have to like let me know down.
Enzo.
Is it Enzo? Yeah, yes. That's how I picture him. That makes him way cooler and way less.
That
gay.
does make him look way cooler.
Dude, if I just picture like Enzo, just like, I am here to cut your penis off, and you're like, whoa, and then he just like teleports around at will, and it's like, I don't have Dark Magician. What am I supposed to do?
I want to add like badass like goggles and like the surgeon mask and all this type of stuff on him too. Like they definitely have to let these guys just stay in their like day-to-day costumes, which these are costumes. We're gonna say it's costumes.
Yeah, they left Comic-Con to go wreak havoc on the world and end up in
that's where they caught him.
Butthole.
That's where they caught him, dude.
Exactly.
This task force just waited outside of a Comic-Con and just grabbed people as they were coming out. They're like, we gotta fill up the chasm, dude. The administration's pissed. We got all of these sets of eyes on him, 10 monitors, everything. And he's also kind of unkillable. No matter how many bullets you put through his head or blades you plunge into his chest, the guy just won't croak. And once he gets his scalpel in his hands, oh boy. Of course, he's just 1 out of 32, and comparatively speaking, on the tamer side. So, this brings me back to the whiteboard for a second. No,
he's C tier.
All right.
Easy C tier.
I'm putting him down on my notepad here. And he's low enough that I can just go ahead and fill him in here.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, there's no way that he breaks C tier. He would be like low C. He's low C.
Yes, yeah. And I mean, I don't think I need to go super in depth to these, but like S tier is also named after a notable NPC coming up. But he's the best of the best, the most special, best team-ups, best costumes. These are the people that we want to win the entire thing.
Yeah.
A tier are people that we love, but they can come or go. C tier is strictly for
everyone.
No pickle is being tickled.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
they're just run of the mill.
F tier is just like, you should go away forever. I don't like you.
Yes.
You're trash.
I hate it. As soon as it comes on, we hate it. Yes.
Exactly.
And all right, so. Not all of them will get added in real time, but I have my little notebook here to add entities to as we progress. So, all right, so we got the surgeon down, strict C tier. I'm so glad I think that we're actually going to agree on a lot of these.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so with all of that said, my guard shift ended without any incident. Routine stuff. Following that, I went on break in the lunchroom with my buddy Sandu. Our conversations were usually pretty dry, but at least I can talk to the guy. It's hard to get along with any of the other guards. They're all just weird in one way or another. Both foreshadowing and just an objective truth. Anyway, lunch was usually the most enjoyable part of a working day down in the Chasm. What I didn't enjoy was the blaring fucking alarm and deafening, repeating, automated voice blasting the word
Branch, branch, branch.
that went off right as I was about to take my chili out of the microwave. I could see Sandu's face drop at the disturbance.
Are you fucking kidding me?
He mouthed. He screamed. Now, I'd only ever experienced one minor breach up until that point, and it was from the surgeon. These guys suck at their job.
Yeah, they're really bad.
He was on the team that fucked up.
Yeah, probably.
I guess none of us were paying any attention that day. He made it about 8 miles off the coast using a stolen boat, racking up a total body count of 145 in his wake. It took 3 full days to wrangle him back, and 4 more weeks to fill all the damage he'd done to the infrastructure. Do you think he's talking about murders?
Yeah,
with the
that's,
body count?
Body count. Yeah, they're dead. They're fucking.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if he was.
I don't understand why he needed to steal a boat when he can teleport. Why would he just black smoke his ass away across the ocean?
That's true.
Yeah. I guess he has to like hit ground again, and if he hits water, he can't swim, so he just drowns. He's a surgeon with no swimming abilities.
Were these just a bunch of like natives that he slaughtered too, or were they like? Was he maybe he got in the boat to go look for other boats? Dude. He was like, fucking fisherman, man, fuck yeah.
He murdered all the
decimated the entire fishing industry. That's what it was.
I mean, this town's living, I mean, who's left here? Like, who's gonna live in this little like, island? I'm just gonna chill here. We're not gonna let your stupid Chasm prison make us leave. Dude.
Well, this cannot even be that secret of an island with hundreds of guards and like infrastructure built and stuff like that, like the supply ships showing up here alone.
Say that, and then Epstein's Island put us all for a twist.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone was blown out of the water to find out that there was just a billionaire with an island full of children.
You know what? You're absolutely right. We're not all looking out in the ocean. That is the last place that we're looking.
Yeah, dude, nobody knows what's going on in the world. You pretend to. You act like because we have the internet, we know what's going on. But then Diddy can just like beat his girlfriend on a hotel camera and no one says anything about it for years.
It's until it resurfaces.
Mm-hmm.
So this was all just one prisoner. The 145 body count, 3 days, everything. Mm-hmm. If we were dealing with 3 or more, then our combined efforts as guards wouldn't have stood a semblance of a chance. There had only ever been one major breach in the Chasm's history in which 8 voids had broken out nearly simultaneously. It was also apparently the only time that the Hammer had to step in. This was all around 12 years ago, long before I became a guard myself. The aftermath of that? I don't have high enough clearance to know, but I'm willing to bet that it was nothing fun. We did have a breach procedure. It was a lengthy document outlining exactly what we were supposed to do and where we were supposed to go. I've read it before, and it's fucking garbage. It's essentially predicated on the idea that we're cannon fodder, and that we're obligated to do whatever we can to contain the prisoners. If anybody actually followed the procedure, they'd die instantly.
What the hell are we supposed to do?
Somebody asked. They only got shrugs in response.
That's not even Sandu. I just made another random Indian guy.
It's just the other Indian guy.
The other one with the worst Indian accent of all history just came in. Sandu's, my Indian accent I didn't think was that bad. And then he's like, Dee! They fired that guy. They fired him. He was too cringe.
He's like mocking Sandu all the time.
Yeah. He's not even Indian, bro. He's from like the Bronx.
So, I fucking hated Sawson. The guy seemed to believe that his life's an action movie and that he's the invincible main protagonist.
Oh yeah, this is a word.
He screamed at the top of his lungs with a stupid grin plastered across his face.
We never get any fucking action. Let's fucking go!
Before anybody could stop him, he picked up his rifle and swung the door open like the giant fucking dumbass that he is. Since the alarm was blaring, we could hardly hear anything that was going on outside in the corridors. For that reason, we were all rather shocked upon seeing Morgie the Corgi standing right outside. Imagine some. Oh, here you go. There.
Imagine some guy walking around in a dirty, giant, creepy dog costume. Now imagine that guy 7'2", 218 centimeters, with a voice that's simultaneously deep, raspy, and childish. That's Morgy the Gorgy for ya. How, like, terrifying it would be to just, like, have a giant, furry. It's just a 7-foot-tall furry is just a terrifying sight to begin with. I mean, they stop at Comic-Con, pick up a bunch of, like, goon bags and spandex, and then they swing over to the Brony convention to just really round out the team. They can't have a terrifying prison without a giant furry who's, for some reason, allowed to just get out of his suit and walk around.
Yeah, and I like the idea of like this one big ass dude standing between the group of like terrified and confused guards, like the sliding doors hit, and then he's just like wanting to retreat back into the group of guards. It's too late, man. Like before Sawson could even put his finger on the trigger, his head was mashed into a pulp. Morgy began pouncing on other guards, effortlessly crushing limbs with his oversized paws. He'd switched between running around on his feet and crawling on all fours. The last thing I saw before running out of the break room was Morgy forcing the remaining horrified agents to play fetch with him using a stray arm. Now, what did you want to rate Morgy at? Did you have a rating for him?
Dude, okay, so I don't really think he deserves A tier because he's just a furry. He's just a really big, overpowered furry. I think I want to put him in C tier. I know when we went through this the last time, you were kind of a Morgy fan, and it is terrifying to just have a pouncing, wouncing dog person. That's horrifying. But at the same time, it is just a person in a furry suit.
It really is. He's just very tall, and it doesn't even say that he's specifically fast or anything like that. He's just imitating a dog. You know what?
He's just like he's got like. Oh, he's like incredibly overpowered. Like he's like the Hulk. He's like the Hulk in a furry suit. It's like if the Hulk decided he didn't want his parents to love him anymore and said, check this out. I now identify as Woof Woof Bow Bow. And I'm dropping out of college.
My name is Morgy.
I'm Morgy. I'm a Firefox. So,
like,
C tier.
We should never put you in that software engineering class.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so, yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with it. I'm a Morgy fan comparatively, but you're right. Let's get on. We need to judge and grade pretty strictly. But of course, it's not like I managed to escape anywhere better. The entire place was in a fucking tizzy. The squad leaders were frenetic, attempting to scrap together some kind of suppression force. I couldn't understand why they were so delusional. Are we guards supposed to be badass? Fuck yeah. Due to our field prowess, we were specifically selected from the existing pool of CIA agents and military personnel to be dropped into this godforsaken place. Put us up against a trafficking militia, terrorists, etc., and we'll smoke them. But what we can't deal with are things that aren't supposed to exist in the first place. Like furries.
Exactly. What a horror. Well, thank you, Internet, for giving a bunch of people the idea that it's cool to dress around like Chuck E. Cheese. And then it's not a sexual thing. It is a sexual thing. Get out of here. You watch one too many anime, and you're like, I'm going to Zoo Island. You're like, oh, what's a Lola Rabbit? Lola Rabbit, more like Lola, I want to put my penis between your cheeks and just feel the fuzz on my balls. I went a little bit hard on those furries there. Anybody in the audience who's a furry, I'm happy that you're living life the way you want to. Keep doing it. I'm not gonna kink shame you here. It's a little weird, but I'm not gonna kink shame you.
The one in my closet can't hear you.
Damn, those are the best women, the ones that you just keep in the closet. The furries in the closet.
He's in a lot of sensory deprivation stuff, so.
Yeah.
Now, we watch creature features and slasher flicks with the inherent understanding that we're watching fiction, a type of visual catharsis for our inherent fascination with the dark and grim. It's not supposed to be real, and we have no idea how to act once we find it standing right in front of our faces. Not even as so-called elite agents. Like I said, I'm not sure why they even bothered keeping guards in the chasm to begin with. These were the thoughts that ran through my head as I bolted through the hellish corridors. No, there's no way. There's no way he's doing this much. Like,
oh, come on. He's Mr. Reddit superstar. Yeah, he totally stopped at one point. Went, I thought of a great line.
Yeah, right. And well, if the policy was changed. Now, at one point, I stumbled upon a crowd of guards leering over some rails. Shockingly, they didn't seem concerned in the slightest.
Oh, what the hell are you guys looking at?
I asked them. A guard I recognized as Fenton turned around.
They're gonna be sick.
He grinned, gesturing for me to look below. His name is Fenton Owl.
The
He didn't
infant owl.
I didn't even know where I was going, so I didn't realize that I'd wandered into the level right above the weight room. It was a sprawling gym with an abundance of the best equipment obtainable, but there was one guard that used it in the most. Branko Petrovic. Oh, yeah, here you go.
Branko Petrovic, a Serbian-American whose oversized frame hardly makes any fucking sense. I swear when I first met the guy, he couldn't have been over 7 feet. He's around 8'2" and 249 centimeters now. Not quite sure what kind of bizarre experiments they ran on him, but they sure as hell overdid it.
They just gave him, they just get pumping him full of human growth hormone or something.
They're like,
So
we're
he's
gonna make a cat. No,
taller.
this is just a ripoff of that guy from what was that? The terrible Black Widow. That trash Black Widow movie.
Okay,
It's her like
okay.
father or whatever. You're like, why don't you love me anymore, Black Widow? It's like the Crimson Soviet or like Captain Soviet or something. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
But it's basically
Yeah,
just
that's
him.
right.
Except for instead of being like actually a superpowered individual, he's just a guard. Like he doesn't even.
He's just a guard that got experimented on a bunch.
Yeah, that's all I was just saying.
Dude,
He's
that
just
is-
a
that is-
guard. He's just
Wow.
a guard. He was like the best the CIA had, but he's not even like void level or cool. He's just a really big guard that they were like, we'll just juice you up real quick. I know you you read the pros and cons of steroids. You realized and took the right choice and just did the steroids, and now your penis is smaller. But look at the gains.
Are these people trying to make more voids out of the
Probably.
guards?
Why not?
Dude, they're like. Anyway, I'm not even.
I don't even think I don't think that they're
Dude, that's
trying to make
wild.
voids out of the guards. I think that they just they like offer it as like a bonus. Like, dude,
He's juicing like crazy, man.
yeah, they're like, yeah, I know you think that you're just cannon fodder. Would you like us to just shoot you up with super steroids? And they're like, well, why not? I drink vodka. You right an ass cheek. You do it. You
I could be a
not
way
bitch.
bigger piece of cannon fodder. Dude, this guy is just Mac from It's Always Sunny. He's like,
Exactly.
you're gonna tell me how to get bigger. Despite the alarms, he was in the middle of overhead pressing what appeared to be an ungodly amount of weight when one of the escaped voids wandered into the weight room floor. It was Lou. Oh,
It was it was Lou, standing at 6'2", 188 centimeters, 205 pounds, and 93 kilograms. Like all other prisoners, the guy was a complete mystery. His most bizarre his mostly bare body was comparable to that of a bodybuilder, save for the hundreds of gnarly scars that decorated his skin. The more disconcerting part of his aesthetic was the fact that he only had one half of his face. The other half consisted of exposed skull, with some kind of red electrical current running through his carnal bones. He had that same current run through his hands, which allowed him to savagely electrocute whatever organic material he touched, quickly rendering it to a pile of black, steaming mush.
I like Lou's. I like his description.
I think Lou's out. He's like Ghost Rider, bro. He's like Ghost Rider, kind
but he's
of.
naked Ghost Rider.
Yeah, naked Ghost Rider
Mostly bare body.
with half a face. You're just like Ghost Rider mid transformation. So I would give him. I think he's better than C. I think he's better than C.
We'll put Lou's up in A tier. I'm okay with it.
I think he deserves at least an A. I don't think I can't even remember. Bronco McConco. He's F, dude. He's lame. Like, imagine being at the Void prison, becoming Captain America, and still not, and still being a guard, still being a fodder guard.
I completely agree with that.
Like, the
I
fact that
absolutely agree.
We have
He's not
Reddit
even helping.
Chuckler. We have Reddit Chuckler on first name basis with you. Like, you want me to take you seriously? No, you're gonna get cooked, brother.
No, absolutely not. They're just absolutely setting this up perfectly. I guess that my fellow agents didn't bother reading up on the prisoners they guarded, because Bronco never stood a chance. It didn't matter if you were superior to Luz in terms of strength. One touch, and you were gone for. The only practical way to take him down was using ranged weapons, and even then, the task was easier said than done. Bronco grunted like the dumb meathead he is before grabbing an Olympic weightlifting plate and chucking it like a frisbee at Luz. It connected, seemingly shattering his ribs, but it wasn't nearly enough to take him down. As soon as he rushed forward, the fight had been decided. Bronco attempted to tackle him, a mistake so horrible that his whole body began twitching as his skin made contact with Luz's fingertips. The electricity spread through his giant frame, causing his vitals to shut down within seconds. In no time at all, he was reduced to a heaping mass of scorched flesh on the floor. Fucking fail. He didn't have time to scream. I could see the respective faces of my stunned colleagues drop as they witnessed what they likely deemed an improbable outcome. Idiots, that's what they were. I couldn't agree more right now.
Yeah, they're so
But
dumb.
truth be told, I was also an idiot for even bothering to stay. Not long after, the sounds of cracking bones and heavy footsteps began emanating from the adjacent hallway. Yeah, like, what did they think was going... Like you said, he must be, like, one of the few people in this facility that actually, like, pays attention to these people and maybe not just presses buttons and stuff.
We know he likes to watch, right? He's a big...
He does like to watch.
He's a big corner...
Judge.
He's a big, he's his wife, that's why he's able to do this job, and he's probably still married, because when he's home, her boyfriend's always there anyways. Every time there's a situation, dude, he's just like, well, maybe I'll just stick around and, get a quick peep. I'm just gonna, I got a nice little chair over here, I'm gonna get naked, it's not gonna be weird, I promise, guys.
How idiotic of me.
Yeah, dude, I'm so
naughty.
sorry. No, the dude's definitely a cringe lord, and like everybody else is like, these guys are like actual people who every CIA mission he went on to be a part of the top of the CIA. Him being the top of the CIA was just him happening to be at every single one, and his exploits consist of Ruby Ridge and Waco. That was his biggest achievements.
But he just got coffee.
Yeah, he's
just the top coffee getter in the agency.
No, they were both his ideas. They were his ideas, and then he just got coffee the whole time.
They were his ideas.
Like, oh no, all the kids died and the dogs? Crazy.
He's like, I told you guys just to sit and watch. That was my idea.
I didn't tell them to do that. I'm just watching. It's not my fault. It's not a big deal, guys. The gas wasn't flammable.
We can already tell because he's posting long things on Reddit that his sexual deviancy reaches no bounds and bleeds over into his professional and private life, life. Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, Mr. Guard is definitely the cringiest person alive.
Along with the rest of the agents, my gaze shifted towards what was sure to be another incoming menace. The locked metal door to the corridor was suddenly dented from the other side. A big fucking dent, mind you. It only took one more blow to blast it off its hinges completely.
Standing at 6'6", 198 centimeters, 242 pounds, and 110 kilograms, and arriving in a haze of blood, guts, and limbs, was the slasher flick aesthetic killer, colloquially known as Wirehead. In congruence with his name, his entire head, save the single eye, was wrapped in rusty barbed wire. He wore a decrepit old leather jacket and jeans, complete with a large pompadour on top, like an 80s or whatever high school delinquent. Everybody's main concern was the weapon in his hands, a large iron bat wrapped in some barbed wire. Or wrapped in the same barbed wire as on his head. If you don't die from the impact, unlikely. The subsequent infection would surely get you. Could you imagine just being the guy that died from an infection? You ran past him. He's full swing. Hey, listen, Tony. Yo, Tony, Hey, you ever seen Hellraiser? That's my fucking cousin, bro. That's my cousin, bro. And then you're like sneaking by and you get nicked and you get syphilis.
Yeah,
and
just
die.
nicked. Yeah.
Or, well,
He's not even paying
tinnitus.
attention to you. He's just gesticulating wildly.
Little Miss Muffet sat on top of it. You know, just like doing a dice clay bits the entire time, and then dude gets nicked going by and gets like super rabies and blows up.
What's in the bowl, bitch? Oh shit! I'm sorry, man.
What's
Sorry.
in
I didn't mean to
the
get you there. You're gonna want to get that looked at. Dude, I love Wirehead. I love Wirehead so
great.
much.
Wirehead's great. So Wirehead was definitely this guy's like, how could I make Hellraiser more anime? How can I stop and like, I really want it to be like Hellraiser meets JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as hard as possible. And or not even JoJo's, what was the other one? Fist of the North Star. He's like, I want Fist of the North Star meets Hellraiser, and we'll be good. We'll be solid. And I love that aesthetic. The one guy with the baseball bat is hilarious. I think he's easy A tier. Easy A tier.
Oh yeah.
The whiteboard. It's so funny too because like everybody is gonna see it, and it's just gonna be backwards.
Is it backwards?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, no.
There's no way to change that. It's fine. Like, why would you even worry about it? It's not like anybody who's watching us is going to be able to read.
That's true. That is very true.
They need us to read the Reddit stories for them, so...
They're not here to see me do that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, don't go asking us, dear listener and viewer, why we didn't take his weapon away when we contained him. We did, but somehow, some way, he got it back. These things can't really be helped. I love that.
What the hell's going on?
I thought. Breaches happened, sure, but it seemed as if every single fucking void had somehow escaped.
How is that possible?
I just want more of his voice, that's why I left it. In any case, I couldn't afford to think deep into it at the moment. As Wirehead began mowing down the mystified agents in his way, I found myself accidentally making eye contact with Luz from below. I nearly had a heart attack as I began pushing through the crowd. Even though I was implicitly certain of the fact that no other location within the chasm would have been much safer, I was still being driven ahead by my fight-or-flight responses, away from the immediate threat. It was kind of funny. I'd been through so many life-or-death experiences that my reaction to adrenaline coursing through my veins had been dulled. Well, it sure as hell got invigorated today. Don't try to act badass now and be like, I've been through so many situations like this.
Actually, I was super scary one time. There was a bomb. It landed about 4 miles away, and I didn't even pee myself.
I just watched it.
I've
watched so many people go into life or death situations.
My whole team died. I said I want to stay at camp.
Yeah. I guess that I wasn't paying enough attention to my surroundings because right as I was about to climb a staircase, I felt an oversized arm slam into my chest, knocking me over in the process. I looked up to see another guard, Cade, leering down at me. Sure, I was happy it wasn't one of the voids, but Cade wasn't much more pleasant.
What are you running from?
He shot me a smug grin.
It's a breach, isn't it? Why don't we do our jobs here and fix it?
Oh, fuck off.
I spat at him, before trying to duck past. No luck there. He caught me by the collar and slammed me into a wall. He certainly had the weight advantage. Still, I didn't practice hand-to-hand combat just to be ragdolled by some asshole. I slammed my elbow down on his wrist, which managed to loosen his grip. I followed up with a knee to the stomach and then attempted to strike his neck. But then he caught my wrist mid-punch.
Nice move,
he said in an obnoxiously sarcastic tone. He took his palm and rammed it into my chin, nearly causing me to black out. In the meantime, Wirehead was getting closer.
Guess we'll have to take these up some other time,
he said.
Somebody can't do some work around here.
I had no idea what he was thinking trying to take on one of the voids, but I wasn't trying to see his delusions through in person. Still in pain from his palm strike, I pulled myself up and began running once more. All the while, the sounds of carnage escalated around me. But there was a glaring issue. I had no idea where I was going. The exits were surely going to be blocked off from the inside.
Do we even have some kind of safe room?
I thought to myself.
No, of course we didn't. We were entirely expendable.
They 100% expected us to fight these things head on, even though there was zero fucking chance of victory on our side. The only thing could do here, survive until the hammer showed up. Obviously, that wasn't any kind of guaranteed reprieve, but my options were slim. Nevertheless, something rather surprising transpired. Amidst the cacophony of frenetic orders from our superiors, a familiar voice snuck in through my radio.
Hey, Chasm! You still alive?
It was Sandu! I picked up my radio and isolated his transmission.
Yeah, where are you, man?
Oh, Bloxy, we got lucky and found something weird. It might save us, though. Come on!
Obviously, there wasn't much information there, but it was better than running around aimlessly. Thankfully, Block C was fairly close, so I was able to make it without running into another void. However, when I got there, it was still as chaotic as ever. I swiveled my head around, trying to spot Sandu. I yelled into my radio, but his response was drowned out by everything around me. As I searched, I began sensing a perplexing, sinister pressure that made it feel as if I were sinking into the concrete beneath me. I hardly had to guess the source.
It was Didac, 9'5", 287 centimeters, question marks pounds, question mark kilograms, because we needed question marks on both. Didac was comparable in appearance to something you'd see in the corner of your room during a sleep paralysis, a hulking, faceless figure wearing a sweeping black robe that jerked all around in unsettling motions as he or she, who knows, it could be a they, walked. I wasn't sure how he actually killed people, mind you. As soon as anybody got within a certain distance of him, they'd freeze in place and begin bleeding from their eyes, and then they'd just stay that way forever.
Obviously, this is such a...
He just has... I love how dumb this guy is. He's F tier. Didac sucks.
Yeah, you're right.
Sucks.
Immediate.
What a little cringe lord.
Don't get too close to me or I'll make your eyes bleed. Oh my god, man. Oh my god,
Don't look at
Ronnie.
me.
It's just so cringe, bro. He's so lame. Like, he doesn't even kill him. He just leaves him in a state of perpetually eye bleeding, frozen forever.
And they stay that way forever.
Oh my God.
I wonder, like, how many people there are in the world that are just, like, frozen in place and people have to, like, work and walk around them. And they're like, oh, they got by Diazec. Like, it's not
I just picture, like, it seems like some weird European country that's been forgotten about.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's where Didac was from. It sounds pretty Eastern European. And there's just some other guy named, like, Zydak, who his whole job is to walk around with a dolly, picking up the people that are just stuck. There's just a warehouse in Uzbekistan that's just 100% people bleeding from their eyes. You walk in, it's just, like, layers. It's like an arena. They're just kind of like shoved on top of each other like boxes.
They turn them into furniture eventually.
Exactly.
Like, depending on the pose, they just kind of like start gluing them together.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, obviously, that wasn't something I was looking forward to. As I looked ahead, I could see some unfortunate guards already getting caught in his death zone. In an attempt to avoid a similar fate, I turned the opposite direction and began running. And then I nearly shit myself.
Standing about 10 feet away was the undead Nazi at 5'8", 173 centimeters, 143 pounds, and 65 kg. His name essentially told you all. A man wearing a dirty, tattered SS uniform with a cracked gas mask covering his face. In one hand, he gripped his signature 42 blade that was inexplicably unbreakable, no matter what he tried doing with it. In the other hand, he held a flamethrower's hose connected to a massive tank on his back, which sprayed out some kind of scorching black flame. That would supposedly yield pain beyond comprehension if you're ever to come in contact with it. Great guy. This guy's awesome. What, like, he's definitely
supposedly yields pain beyond comprehension.
Yeah, no, it's the way he's designed. If he would have just been like, oh, Call of Duty Zombie, instant F tier, sucks. Adding a flamethrower that has black flame,
yes,
instantly
absolutely.
Jumps it up. I think low A. I think
low A. Okay.
Nah, throw him in C. Throw him in C.
We'll
Nazi
do high
student.
C.
High C.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
He's still just the most overused guy. I want to give him more credit, but he is just an undead Nazi. It's not very original, but the Black Flame is a cool image. It is a cool image. If it wasn't overdone, I think he would have got A. But just because of the flamethrower, but just being a Nazi is kind of boring. It's just
that is very boring, and so like if you remember the last time when we started going through these guys, I was like, oh, what is like a Nazi zombie going to show up, and then like fucking Nazi zombie shows up in the same episode.
It was because he kind of like when we were reading this the first time. This thing, like, it's the perfect B movie. This is the perfect. I want to do a horror, a monster mashup, or we have a Fight Club type thing. It's this cheesy B movie. It's awesome. It's a cabin in the woods, and he was like, it would be funny if like an undead Nazi showed up, and that's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. Like 2 seconds later, and
absolutely,
it's just ridiculous that he was like, yeah, I did Didac, who was basically like. Medusa, if Medusa was like really into like punk rock in England,
like Grim Reaper maybe,
yeah,
type?
like
Medusa
Grim
Reaper. Yeah, I definitely get that.
And undead Nazi,
and then undead Nazi.
The flamethrower though makes it work. I think it would have been cooler if it would have been like a Viet Cong soldier.
Yes.
That would have been more original. That would have been
more like a World War I soldier, even. Like
that would have been cool.
Something where like the flamethrowers were just pioneered and like the real horror stories came from it, or Vietnam, like you said.
What was the Kremlin? So, like if they would have said he was like a forgotten Kremlin or like the undead Kremlin or something.
That's the Soviets.
Oh. No,
so,
okay, I don't know. World War I's so boring and sad. It's like we spent like 100 years in a trench. We just kept having to cut off each other's feet.
And we never moved. Unless it was to run forward and then run back.
How did the war start? Dude. Too much stuff. We're not going to talk about that. We sent
too
America
much stuff,
into
exactly.
A depression.
Like you will fall asleep with me describing why. Let's just skip it.
It's so boring.
You could say that I was stuck in between a rock and a hard place here. The only other way out was taking the plunge over the rail in front of me, onto massive scrambling bodies 50 feet below. Before I considered simply saying my prayers, I felt a hand tug at my sleeve from the side, giving me another heart attack. But this time, it was good news. For once, I looked over to see Sandu poking his head out from what appeared to be some kind of hidden door in the wall.
Let's fucking go!
He whisper shouted before pulling me in. He closed the door behind him, plunging us into complete darkness.
What the hell is this place?
I asked, hardly expecting a detailed response. Sandu illuminated his face using his phone's flashlight.
Couldn't tell you, but it is fucking crazy.
I could hear the Nazi beginning to spray his flamethrower from out in the corridor. I suddenly wondered whether or not Diazek's power would apply to the other voids. In any case, it was better not to be in such close vicinity to them, so I followed Sandu. He led me down some kind of hidden hallway. The walk was rather long, maybe about 8 minutes. And I eventually found myself in what appeared to be some kind of surveillance control room. It was still dark, but there was an array of monitors giving off enough light to comfortably navigate around it. But here's the strange thing. The place looked kind of haphazard. No chance it was being used by the higher-ups. The monitors were scattered around, connected by a mess of wires to multiple outlets spread throughout the room. There was also only one chair.
I guess this is just beyond explaining.
I said.
Yeah, not a shit, huh?
Sandu replied before gesturing towards the monitors.
Check it out! What the fuck did we just find?
I took the suggestion, letting my eyes drift over to the screens. What I saw would have been normal in any other scenario. Each monitor was streaming a different section of the prison, all displaying the utter carnage that was going on outside. The guards were being ripped to shreds. Some tried fighting, most were running. But what they had in common was the fact that they were all being utterly obliterated by the voids. I could see the surgeon giving somebody a forced lobotomy, grinning like hell while doing so. At the same time, Morgie was chewing on a severed head like a toy. But then I caught something interesting on a screen below. It was Wirehead and Luz staring each other down. That's when a rather obvious revelation hit me. Of course the voids weren't only going to kill the guards. They were sure as hell going after each other as well. That much should have been apparent from the beginning. I grinned, feeling some kind of obscure hope creeping into my system. That hope was only bolstered when I saw the Nazi utterly dousing Diazek with a relentless wave of black flames, with the latter struggling to move forward as a result.
Good. Diazek sucks. He's like a bitch.
Dude, he really does.
He's so shit.
Guess these bastards can be hurt after all.
I thought to myself. But of course, my hope was merely transitory. I wasn't going to kid myself. Even if only one void was left standing at the end of everything, that just means it'll be the strongest one out of all of them. And we can't stay in here forever. At this point, my future is uncertain at best. Maybe I'll get lucky, probably not. But in the meantime, I suppose I'll enjoy the show and see how things turn out.
He instantly got back into the cuck chair. He's so happy.
Yeah, he did.
He's so happy to be in safe room mode. He's so happy to have like cuck chair mode engaged. He's got all of his monitors, which probably have the video quality of my camera, which is barely visible sometimes. He bought it for the whole. They ran out of money hiring all of those workers all of the fodder. They had to hire so much fodder that they just bought all their cameras from. They're all on brand, which is Walmart's generic boring brand, and they're like, oh, that's 1080p, and then it's not 1080p. It's lying to you. It's like 1440 and a jizz tickle.
They're like, it's called like on void or something like that.
Yeah,
it's a specific line that they make. What it is they quintuple charge, but they don't up the quality one fucking bit. It's government money, so.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. We're the government. We can just put money into anything. Walmart just calls them up like, hey, we got these cameras you really like. When do we need a subsidy? So.
Yeah, let's make something happen. All right, so yes, Diazek, I'm pretty sure is dying like a bitch out of nowhere. So absolutely belongs on the F tier. Undead Nazi kind of made a neat little entrance there. I don't think anybody beats Wirehead's entrance, though, to me, man.
No,
I really don't. Dude, it's the Cenobite is too cool. He's too fucking cool. All right, so let's see. Yeah, we got time for. I think we got time for another read.
I think so. I think we can get through part 2 pretty quick.
All right, let's go. All right, so here we go. All right, part 2.
This place sure creeps you out, doesn't it?
I couldn't disagree with Sandu's assessment of the bizarre room we found ourselves in. The monitors only illuminated the area up until a certain point. However, we couldn't see any walls, which meant the place had to be bigger than what could be seen, either by a little or a lot. We couldn't know unless we decided to venture further into the darkness. Neither of us took that initiative, though keeping it a mystery. Still, it didn't feel like anybody was in there with us, so we allowed ourselves to relax a bit. I took the first sitting shift, lying back in the chair and focusing on the monitor that I deemed most interesting at the moment.
Wirehead vs. Lose.
Who was I rooting for? None of them, actually. Nevertheless, I was morbidly eager to see... I bet you are. I was morbidly eager to see these two horrific titans square off. Among us guards, we'd created an unofficial tier system, ranking each respective void in terms of the estimated threat that they posed, in comparison to each other. The tiers went as such.
Tornado, the weakest. Only worry about that if you live in a trailer park. Tsunami definitely takes out a lot more land, a lot more of a scary thing to see a wall of water. And then a hurricane, which is just like a meaner tsunami, but that's only mid. That's mid. That's that ugly chick hanging out with all it's the fat chick hanging out at the bar with all the hot chicks. 100% that's a hurricane. It takes a hurricane drink just to sleep with her.
That's what I was about to say. She's probably drinking a hurricane.
Earthquake, step above, and then asteroid. Obviously, asteroid just obliterates everything. High, imminent death. Get the fuck out.
We also had these divided up into subdivisions, high, low, mid, etc. So a mid-mid. With that said, Luz was around a high tornado, while Wirehead was a mid-tsunami.
Want to make a bet?
I asked Sandu, half-jokingly. He chuckled.
You know my lucky... oh, wait a minute. This is him.
Oh, yeah.
You know my luck's cursed, but I guess if we don't make it out of here alive, my debt's null anyway.
Luz was more of a defensive combatant, so it wasn't surprising when Wirehead initiated the conflict. He twirled his bat around, still with the remnants of guard flesh clinging onto it, in a near-mocking fashion at Luz. He was a delinquent after all. Dude, what a fucking comment there at the end,
This guy's
bro.
so cringe, bro.
He's an ornery one.
I love that we made the narrator a cuck right off the bat. Like he is just he is a watcher. He is a
You saw right into this character's soul, bro,
Dude,
from like a few lines of dialogue.
He is 100%. He's like you're like talking with your buddies, and he's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Anyway, you want to join the conversation? No, I'm good. I'm good.
No, you guys are good.
So lame, dude. Like everything that Wirehead did could have been cool. Like he could have swung the bat around and then like popped it and all the blood comes off. It could be a really cool image, but he's like, hey, it's a delinquent after all.
Yeah, like one last dude is like reaching up from the floor and Wirehead just takes him out with like one backhand swing as he comes marching up.
Yeah.
Instead he's just like, oh wait, I keep doing the wrong arm. Just twirling his little baton while he goes.
Yeah, exactly.
And the narrator's like, yeah, twirl it for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's big and long.
Luz hardly reacted, of course. That's just the way he is. In response, he stepped forward, electricity flickering through his hands and up to his forearms. Wirehead followed suit, unleashing a big swing at Luz's head, which he managed to intercept with one of his forearms. Nevertheless, the wires still pierced through his skin. Wirehead followed it up with a headbutt. This time it connected with the flesh side of Luz's face, slicing him up rather gruesomely. Hell yeah, dude. This is why we got him up there. He's
got enough wins that baton twirling isn't dropping. I mean, it keeps him from S tier, obviously. I mean,
yes,
I'm glad we didn't put him in S tier because baton twirling in the middle and then
our judgment would have been called into question right after.
Like he could have just like had him slide the bat down like that cool like slide. You know that one that everybody
like just smack it into the wall and drag it or something like that.
Yeah,
even
or I'm talking about the one where you grab it, throw it to another hand, and slide it out to the edge of the bat.
Oh yeah.
It could have been like something like that, but he's like, no, he does the twirly. He twirls it. It's twirly, and
it's gotta be like flowy a little. It's gotta be a little. It's a little.
Yeah.
What are they calling it? A little spicy.
And he has like everything else other than that's really cool, but he doesn't deserve S tier.
You're right. Especially with him trying to rizz up Luz here. Despite his seemingly grievous injuries, he remained unwavering. That was the thing about Luz. He was incapable of feeling any pain. Like I said, his exact origins remained a mystery. But the one thing we knew about him for sure was the fact that he had hailed from some kind of ancient clan residing in the Arctic Circle. In fact, he was the sole survivor of an incident that decimated his village, and he was hungry for revenge against the unknown force that did it. After taking the headbutt, Luz was now in striking range. He formed his fingers into an arrow shape and drove them into Wirehead's solar plexus before electrocuting his insides. I imagine that Wirehead's insides are also wrapped up in barbed wire. So this is conducting a ton of electricity through him.
No, I just see like sparks shooting off of him. It would be really cool. Again, dude, this is like, I know that the readers might think this is super cringe, but at the same time, you gotta put yourself in the position of like watching a Grindhouse film. This is 100% Planet Terror level like stupidity, but it's like everything in my mind has a again, my camera is exactly the type of graininess that would be filmed to make this movie. It's so stupid, but so cool at the same time.
Oh yeah, dude, it's too cool. But our boy is about to get taken out, man. I think, man, I'm really pulling for him.
He's cooked. It's fine.
He's getting
it's fine.
like
I mean, what else are you gonna do with him? Like, I
Pride.
don't know. You can only take Pompadour, Pinhead so far.
I want him to get another gang of delinquents together.
Yeah, dude.
And see what antics they get up to. And start snapping in unison, exactly. Dude, we gotta get a West Side Story going.
Dude, they're just like walking in. You got like the barbed wire face. You got Karambit knife head.
Knife head, dude. It's just like a butter knife coming out of the neck. That's all it is, dude.
I know it's a pizza cutter, and he's wearing an Italian. He's wearing like an Italian chef outfit.
We got spatula ass.
They're
we
all
got 4
they're
cans.
all Italians, dude. They're all
Yes.
Italians.
Oh,
It's
they're
just
all painfully Italian.
Yeah, it's like glass body, and it's just all pieces of raw pasta sauce bottles.
I imagine that as he's getting shocked, he's like,
Hey! Mamma mia! Where the body got go? Mama, I love you so much!
Wirehead, Mother Mary! Wirehead quaked in pain as he swung his bat in a frenzied rage, just about demolishing Luz's ribcage. No reaction from him, though. Instead, he took his other hand and wrapped it around Wirehead's neck. Any normal person would have succumbed to Luz's electrical shocks after a few seconds. But of course, Wirehead was no normal person. Despite blood pouring out from his chest wound and the skin on his neck beginning to bubble, he picked Luz up by the torso and slammed him over the steel railing.
Ooh.
Yeah, dude, fucking
Ooh.
Bane move. You fucking broke his back. Even without sound, the mental audio of a spine snapping reverberated through my mind.
Pop.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, Luz didn't bat an eye. So the dude's gotten his rib cage demolished, half of his face torn off, and now his spine snapped, and he's just like... Yawn. Wirehead went in for the kill, tossing Luz's body onto the ground before smashing it until resembling nothing more than a mess of bloody pulp and broken bones. But somehow, he was still alive. Among the gruesome pile, I could see an eye blink. Once Wirehead had exhausted himself from his relentless swinging, Luz took his chance. Using his one arm that hadn't been smashed into bits, he crawled over and grabbed Wirehead by the foot before scaling himself up to his neck. Once there, he drilled his fist into Wirehead's forehead, utterly shredding his own hand in the process. In the end, it was worth the sacrifice. He was able to electrocute Wirehead's brain, finally causing the behemoth to drop.
So I won? Alright, so I guess he won?
Sandu said.
I guess.
I had my own reservations about calling Luz's performance a victory, but by the end of it, all of his limbs and his spine had been shattered, and not an inch of his body wasn't hosting a series of deep cuts. The good side of his face had also been chipped away to the skull, leaving only his eye and half his nose intact. And yet...
No. I skipped forward a whole paragraph. I got excited.
Oh, you're good.
I got excited to read dialogue. I'm just over here just slow jerking.
Looking for the next...
dialogue.
I get you. And yet, he didn't move with the hint of desperation or concern, calmly crawling away from the scene using his one mangled hand. I could still see the current flowing through it as well, a telltale sign that he was ready to pick up another fight.
Nice comeback victory!
Sandu said.
I don't see him making it far, though not as a tornado tear.
Yeah.
I responded. Sorry.
But-
I skipped it.
Yeah, but we made all that shit up. Not like it means anything.
I responded. Truth be told, I was nearly rooting for Luz at the end there. Something about his resilience resonated with me, as bizarre as it may seem. Yeah, because he stays in the fight for so long. I scanned the rest of the monitors. While Wirehead and Luz were squaring off, the undead Nazi had burnt Diazak to a crisp like a bitch.
Dude sucks.
On another monitor, he did suck. On another monitor, Morgie playing around with a void corpse that I recognized as Death Shadow. He chose his own name.
I'm Death Shadow. I'm the coolest. I just see Death Shadow just like sitting in his cell, and somebody's like, "Who's this guy?" And it's a Hank. Death Shadow. I am Death Shadow. Do you not understand the mere ramifications of who I am? They're like, no one knows who you are. I blew up all of Uzi's Boozistan. All of it. You thought it was a real place? Well, it wasn't after I was done with it. I am Death Shadow.
They're like, Ralph. Oh my god. Death Shadow. What?
Yes. What's going on, buddy?
You needed me?
What a loser.
3 down.
I muttered to myself.
Look, we got the big one coming up.
Sandu announced. I followed his eyes to a monitor near the bottom of the room. He was right. This one was going to be good. Standing at opposite sides of the kitchen were...
Trench coming in at 6'3", 190 centimeters, 330 pounds, and 150 kg. And Senju, 5'10", 177 centimeters, 148 pounds, and 67 kilograms. Trench was a silent entity dressed entirely in an ancient-looking deep-sea diving gear, except for the head, which remained without a helmet. However, you couldn't get a glimpse of his face regardless. That was due to the fact that his features were completely distorted. Oh, so he's not invisible. Last time we read this, I thought he was invisible.
No, keep going.
We're completely distorted so much that if you try to focus on the details, you're going to get a nasty migraine. Kind of like me playing Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Camera angles suck. Well, on top of that, he was an invisible person. Okay, yeah, no, he was an invisible person.
This is
so lame. This is so lame. But put Trench in the F tier, bro.
I'm already, dude. I was about to say, you just go ahead and read.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. Get him out of here, bro. Dude's literally fucking Scuba Steve.
I'm
Dude, it's Scuba Steve mixed with the Ring.
I'm Scuba Sting Ring guy.
He's just making Adam Sandler noises the whole time. Just like, I hate him.
Yeah,
I hate him so much, dude. I like Adam Sandler. Don't like this guy, though.
No, hell no. Now, did you want to explain Trench, or did you want me to get this one?
I already got Trench. This is, let me explain. If he were standing right in front of you, you wouldn't be able to see him. No shit, that's what invisible means. The only way to get a glimpse of him was through his secondary means, cameras, mirrors, etc., which made him all the more dangerous. As for how he killed people, it was either by brute force using monstrous strength or be his death aura. As guards have dubbed it, similar to Didac's Zone, once you were in his close vicinity, you'd feel an astronomical amount of pressure and get crushed on the spot. That's kind of cool. Okay, hold on. You want to know why it's cool? It's because he's a diver.
Right. So you're like, he puts like the same pressure that he died in. Like, I imagine that this guy like was like one of those like Davy Jones things, like Bootstrap Bill or something like that. Like they threw it, like he's drowning all the time wherever like his physical form is or something like that, and maybe his spirit's walking around. Yes.
He's just Cuba Gooding Jr. Fresh off of the most recent assault case or whatever he allegedly did. I don't know. Cuba Gooding Jr. is a goon bag, but like I just picture him in that suit, like the '60s suit, like the Scooby Doo scary one. Which even if you put him in it doesn't matter if you put him in Scuba Steve suit or the other suit. Neither of those are scary.
No, it's not going to be scary looking, and that's why he has to stay invisible.
Yeah.
Because people crack the fuck up when he comes walking in, like gurgling, and he's like, and they're like,
leave.
What the fuck?
Just leave,
dude.
bro.
Get
Just leave.
out of here.
Get out of here, dog. Nobody likes you. Anyways, and get crushed on the spot, comparable to what you'd feel standing at the bottom of the ocean. But that's only if Trench wills it. Sometimes he'll turn the aura off and simply punch somebody's head off. So lame. For that reason, he was mid-hurricane tier. As for Senju, well, he was basically a psychotic, demon-possessed martial artist. Supernatural levels of speed, strength, and agility. We have a ninja, dude. We have a ninja. We have a Naruto. Naruto's too gay for this.
He's just a shonen.
Dude, he's just a shonen protagonist. We got One Punch Man here. At that point, we'll be moving so fast. Wait. He apparently trained in the Wraith style, or the technique beyond human comprehension. That is just terrible writing there. He's just like, well, we named it, but it's beyond human comprehension, guys.
How is he trained in it if no one can comprehend?
Yeah, how does it have a name if it's not comprehensible? Like, if he would have put it in, like, if he would have written in Japanese here, it was just, like, style. And then, like, then it was just, like, translated to technique behind, literally translated. That would be kind of cool. That would be, like, I would give it a pass there, because literally they were, like, they didn't know how to do it, so they just said in Japanese, weird-ass style.
Yeah, and he tells you that there is a style before ripping away that you're able to understand
Yeah.
it, too.
Yeah.
Like, so why say it?
Yeah.
Why say it at all? How is that in his dossier?
Exactly. Whatever the hell those were supposed to mean. When he gets serious, his eyes roll into the back of his head, and black veins will begin to bulge out from underneath his skin. At that point, he'll be moving so fast, his motions become impossible to keep up with visually, and a single punch from him will be enough to completely vaporize a human head. So the other guy, like, crushed the head. This guy vaporizes it. This is 80s blood squib. This is what it looks like after I have, like, Taco Bell in the toilet, was what happens to your head. But in all honesty, he's one of the least malicious voids of the bunch. If you're weak like us guards, he won't even spare you a glance. This is Baki's dad. Granted that you will stay out of his way. The only thing that he is really looking for are strong opponents to fight. But when he can't find one, he starts getting antsy and the problems emerge. So dumb. We begged him at a low hurricane. Can Sanju even beat Trench?
Sandu asked.
I guess so.
I responded. The question was worth asking, but I wouldn't have been surprised if Trench's aura/invisibility simply didn't work on him at all. That seemed to be the case since Senju decided to strike first. He rushed forward at an unfathomable speed, directing what must have been hundreds of strikes in succession at Trench. So he just gets to see him, through no secondary means?
Well, I mean, we're at this point, it's just doing this for the reader.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
Like, what I picture is like, you know, when you see like an impact, like a missile or a gun, and you see like the stuff come off. Like when you've probably gone shooting before, and you just see like the debris pop off. You don't see the bullet hit it, but you see the debris. So what I'm just imagining is Scuba Douche is sitting there and just like, and Senju's just like, and he's making like all the unnecessary noises. And,
yeah. Race style.
Yeah, dude, it's straight. This is like Wu-Tang level greatness, dude.
It is. I definitely agree with that. I just don't get how he just gets to see Trench. I guess maybe he just turned off the invisibility or something like that.
Well,
but
like it might be, so his invisibility was, it said it was like only it affected you because it would like give you a migraine, and because he was invisible, it was like distorted invisibility. So I'm guessing it's like invisible static. So
you're right. Yeah.
Because you're weak, you get the ooey wooies, and so he just like flips his head in the back of it. He just goes off of sense. So he's like, I think he's seeing his aura. Like, we're gonna go real anime with this. He's
yes.
You
That's what I was just thinking. He can just like feel the presence. Yeah.
You think you got to me?
And he is possessed by a demon.
Exactly.
The demon's probably like, "Hey, there's a ghost right the fuck there, dude.
Yeah.
Go whoop his ass with that race style.
Exactly. 100%.
Make him comprehend."
Yep.
However, none of these hundreds of strikes phased the obscure driver. I could see Senju's lips curling into a psychotic grin at the fact. He had certainly found what he was looking for. The floor beneath him cracked as his eyes turned white with his grotesque veins began bulging. If we couldn't see his strikes before, it was beyond impossible now. This dude's just rock hard too while he's doing this, with all everything on his bulging. He rushed forward, unleashing a maelstrom of lightning-like punches, elbows and kicks against Trench. This went on for about 5 seconds before he was stopped in his tracks. Trench had grabbed him by the throat, still not looking any worse for wear in the process. I could see Senju mouth something to the effect of, before he was tossed into a metal fridge. It certainly appeared as if Trench was too much of a tank for him to handle. Nevertheless, Senju got backed up and cracked his shoulder into place while blood leaked from his mouth, and then he seemed to let out a shriek.
Crazy fucker.
I thought to myself, what the hell did it take for somebody to become like this? Demonic possession, Wraith style. At this point, he'd seemingly given up on technique entirely. Instead, he grabbed a handful of kitchen knives and began chucking them at Trench. While none of them pierced the suit, one of them managed to stick in his distorted head, which evidently dealt some damage. Trench flinched, before taking the knife out and throwing it back at Senju, who in turn caught it effortlessly. At this point, he was howling in what I assumed was some kind of fucked up sadomasochistic jubilation. He'd found the weak point. Senju rushed at Trench, knife in hand, slashing away at his face. Spurts of viscous dark blue blood stained the kitchen floor, along with Senju's own face. Soon enough, the knife snapped, and Trench threw a desperation punch at Senju's temple. He managed to block it with his forearm, although I could see his bones cracking from the impact. He leapt back as his arm hung limp to his side, dodging a follow-up haymaker. Throughout everything, a grin remained plastered on his face. His veins were bulging out so hard that I found it hard to believe they weren't going to completely burst altogether. With one arm, Senju lifted a metal table and swung it into the side of Trench's head, nearly taking it off in the process. He wasted no time grabbing a large frying pan and pouncing it at his incapacitated opponent, knocking them both over in the process. He then took a position atop Trench's body, furiously slamming the pan into his face.
God, that's so hot. Oh, God, so much gay sex happened right in the middle of that. They're just skipping over that part because he's our main protagonist. He's a Redditor, but he's pretending to not be homophobic. And he's sitting there and he's like...
This is like half in code.
Yeah. Oh, my God, yes. Oh, the frying pan, though. The frying pan. Oh. He's got the twitch and everything going.
Now he's straddling him.
Yeah, exactly.
And just dropping it on him 250 times in a row.
Exactly. This is the dream, bro. This is I understand why like every woman in the world likes romance novels. This is
getting me all excited, bro. Yeah.
This is and if listener out there, if you don't think your girl is reading romance novels, you're lying to yourself. They are vile. But hey, man, they do good things for you. You ever come home and your girl's like, "Hey, what's up?" And you get that look, they're like, "Whoa, I guess we're."
You see a bookmark like in the middle,
exactly.
or it's like laying face down open.
The entire book.
She's like, "I had an idea earlier." The drenched, it's hanging out on the line. And you come home, dude, it's tumbling in the dryer.
Yeah, you walk outside, you're coming home and just like you have a dryer, but for some reason they're just hung up, just tons of paperbacks just dripping. You're like, it's gonna be a good day for me, buddy.
Yeah.
This is the male.
Also,
equivalent.
To put it completely into context, all that happened was Trench just like walked into the room. And Senju just happened to like walk into the other room. Yeah. Like Trench did not get one cool moment. He just stood there.
He broke Senju's arm.
That's true. He did. He threw him into a refrigerator. Was that the entirety of it?
No. So he threw him into the refrigerator, and then the knife thing happened, and then he like kicked him over, or he got the kick. This is before the kick over. He threw the punch to like take off Senju's hand, and Senju was just like, "You disgrace your family," and then like
he racked a discipline. That's for sure.
Broke his arm, right, and then he just knocked him over and beat him to death with the frying pan.
He got yes, and dude. Trench gets his own fucking tier, bro. He doesn't even belong in F tier. This is
he's
like
awful.
You got fucking taken out by a frying pan.
Yeah, dude.
And the guy that does, I am a picturing. You know how I picture Senju. You know the videos of the guy that like flicks the cokes, and opens them with his eyes rolled back. That's the only thing I picture. That's just this guy down there.
Yeah, I love Senju. Senju's S tier. I'm putting him in S tier.
Senju S tier?
I like him.
Okay.
He's. Right. I don't care if he dies. I don't care if he sucks a little bit because he's just an anime character. He's just goofy enough to keep, dude. And the fact that I gave him One Piece noises, he's like the fact that he's just like.
I do want him to stick around.
Yeah, dude. He's got One Piece noises. He's like RVD, and then
I think that he fits. He fits a lot of the metrics for the S tier.
Yeah,
we both want him to stick around. He's way different than anything else that we've seen so far.
He's a turning point of where you know that the story does not care. How cheesy it is. I love how cheesy it is. So I think he's good. I think we put him in that place.
That's true. We are getting out of the phase. This isn't spoiling anything at all, but this is getting out of the phase and very much signposting that we're out of the like SCP like creepiness and we're getting into full on like Attack on Titan like craziness after craziness action.
This isn't the first half of the Cabin in the Woods. It just like skipped that part. It was like, that's boring.
Yeah. There was very little of that.
We're doing.
The extent of it was a little bit of opening exposition and trying to heat up some chili.
Yeah.
And then we just went straight into this Freddy v.
Absolutely.
Jason type shit. Awesome.
Exactly, and that's like why Freddy vs. Jason is an amazing movie. Is it just skips all the BS and gets right to the good stuff, and that's what this is doing, and that's what Senju's point is. He's like, no, you guys thought that these were like they had creepy fights. No, these are like knockdown, drag out goofballness.
Oh yeah. So we've took a position, fiercely slamming the pan into the face.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Marjolati!
I could hear Sandu mutter. After what must have been 250 blows, the pan broke. On the ground, Trench's head had been obliterated no less than 50 strikes prior. Senju tossed the scrap metal aside and looked up at the ceiling, presumably screaming his lungs sore in sheer combative delight.
I like it.
Well, looks
Perfect.
like our tier system means fuck all.
I chuckled. Yeah, he's down here chuckling. Despite the morbid scene unfolding in front of us, Sandu shared a laugh with me. We were at this point where the absolute absurdity and danger of the situation was beginning to fade from our senses. Hell, I suppose we were enjoying ourselves, as fucked up as that may sound. We kept watching as Senju got up and stumbled around, evidently disoriented from both his injuries and successive fits of fighting spirit-induced rage euphoria. I hate that sentence.
That's a terrible.
I hate that
sentence.
sentence. F-tier sentence. He took about 4 steps back. He took about 4 steps before his head exploded, throwing the two of us watching for quite the loop. You got Jay up. Gade.
Another fighter steps into frame who we recognize as Satan Bot. 6'11", 211 centimeters, 535 pounds, and 243 kilograms. Satan Bot. His biggest enemy is Concrete Jesus. I felt a shiver crawling down my spine upon seeing him, somewhat snapping me back into reality. Up there goes gravity. Despite his comical name, Satan Bot had to be the one of the most frightening voids out there. Dude, it's so dumb. Like, I was gonna read the next line, but it just goes right into his voice, dude. It's just, I just couldn't understand what the fuck he was supposed to be.
Well, he's an atheist.
Well, yeah,
he's Redditor, so he's Reddit atheist.
Super. It's like, he's just like, Satan Bot. This is F tier, by the way. Satan Bot gets F tier. It's like
F tier. I agree.
I'll finish his bio, but Satan Bot's super cringe and gay and lame. I just couldn't understand why the fuck he was supposed to be. His body appeared to be robotic, but moved in ways way too fluid, almost like a sophisticated android, or more fluid than the most sophisticated android. Take that, Elon Musk, you stupid bitch. Whoa, your android can like cook my kitchen and give me some soft toppy. No. Satan Bot can do this and this.
Wake me up when you've made fucking Satan Bot and he's as fluid as ever.
Yeah, when your robot can do like the super fluid worm and like when your robot can put out the piece of cardboard and start breakdancing like it's the 90s again, then call me. Otherwise, I'm asleep. His body appeared like legitimate metal flesh. It was honestly maddening to look at. On top of that, he literally resembled the fucking devil himself. A reddish-black, scaly skin, metallic shell, a mouth full of exposed razor-sharp teeth, rectangles, slanted crimson eyes, a pair of large mechanical wings, a long tail, and something that resembled a three-pronged spear to boot. For whatever reason, he had a rocket launcher atop his right shoulder and a Gatling gun connected to his left hand. No, these were not mechanical modifications. They were literally connected to his body. He was unanimously considered one of the most dangerous voids residing in the chasm, rated at a high earthquake. Even if Sunju was at full strength, he wouldn't have stood a chance. Oh, the shit!
Hindu commented.
I was hoping he didn't escape.
Well, let's not worry about him for now.
I said, turning my attention to another monitor. Are you really, Sandu? You were hoping that Satan Bot didn't escape?
Yeah, dude. He's obviously out. What my eyes landed on next was an utter massacre sitting atop a pile of bodies that must have eclipsed 6 feet tall was Hugo Wright, aka the Brutal Bishop. Instant, like, the name Brutal Bishop is awesome. 6'2", 189 centimeters, 200 pounds, and 91 kg. Like his name indicated, he was dressed in traditional vicar priest outfit. The only difference was the fact that the cross he wore around his neck was fashioned out of blades. The man himself had a long, sweeping black hair and about 14 bags under both of his dead blue eyes. It was unclear to us what his real motivations were. It's not like he really followed the rules of any religion on Earth. Despite his outfit, he just went on long rants about the sin of nationalism and the futility of existence, and how to reach the state of sanctity, we must first reach a clean slate. Basically, he wanted to kill every sentient being on Earth, and then himself. He wasn't all talk either. He certainly was strong. We rated him at a low hurricane. I love this guy.
I love him too. I love the Brutal Bishop.
Great name. He's S tier. Brutal Bishop's S tier.
We're getting, this is where we just get double barrel blasted, dude.
These like, because we got a little ways past this when the first time we read, and this is like the two most epically over talked about characters, so you know they're gonna last the longest. Like anytime a writer, it's like when you're watching a show and you're like, oh, we're getting a backstory. This guy's not gonna die really fast. It's not that kind of movie.
This is so funny to me, dude, how we just get like an entirely different thing. This is about to go on a tangent.
Yeah, dude, this goes on a tangent right here. This is where it goes off the rails with the next guy. Next we got Kyle Sylvia, aka Vampire Cop, 5'9", 175 centimeters, 176 pounds and 80 kilograms. Kale was rather interesting, being that he was one of the most cooperative voids. In fact, he was the only prisoner that willing turned himself in. His backstory was interesting as well, and a few we actually knew about. He used to be a prolific, merciless Brazilian cop who patrolled the most dangerous parts of Rio. It was so much It was so much that he earned the reputation among the criminal underground as the Reaper. But he was still only human. During one fateful mission, his entire unit was massacred during an ambush attack. About a dozen distinct gangs who were all unified under the same goal of taking him down. He was the only survivor, but was captured in the process. After being brutally tortured in a warehouse for about 5 hours, the lights suddenly went out. During the period of darkness, the only sounds that entered his ears were those of carnage. Every single gang member that was obliterated by some unknown force. At the end of the bloodbath, he could hear the footsteps slowly approaching him, before a deep, raspy voice whispered into his ear. There is some potential in you. Allow me to bestow you with an opportunity. He felt a sharp pain in his neck, and before the hidden entity spoke to him again, fulfill your duty. And then he passed out. When he woke up, he found himself in bed with all the wounds from his torture session just about healed. All the wounds except for one, a bite mark on his neck. His appearance had also changed drastically. Pale skin, dark eyes, fangs. He'd heard about the stories, but he could hardly comprehend that he'd become one himself. He couldn't even handle being exposed to the sun anymore. He found himself with superhuman strength and regeneration, which he used to brutalize criminals at night as a vigilante. However, it didn't take long for him to go too far. One night, he went into a frenzy, breaking into a house of a suspected rapist and killing everybody inside. Everybody, including the rapist's innocent mother and daughter. His resolve in regards to justice never wavered. He remained strong no matter what he went through. For that reason, he could hardly live with the guilt on his conscience and walked into the police station he used to work in and turned himself into his former colleagues. That all thought he was dead. Of course, news spread quickly. That's when the CIA stepped in and transferred him to the Chasm. He put in no resistance. In fact, he deemed the Chasm a place where he 100% belonged. Jesus. It's so much.
Dude, it's so unnecessary of a backstory.
Mm-hmm.
It's so unnecessary of a backstory, dude. Like, vampire cop, you could have dulled that entire story in your head. Like, how else are you going to be a vampire cop?
Easily, you could have just like assumed, he was a Brazilian cop that got bit by a vampire. Who? Like,
no fucking way.
Yeah,
like,
really.
That's the only thing that you need to tell there is like where he was. That he was a Brazilian cop. Boom. That's it. That's all you fucking need. It's insane, dude. It's so crazy. I love whenever both times that like we've been reading the backstories when it hits the however and it does like the twist where he becomes like the bad guy for like a very short time, even though like he didn't really do any. He went too far one time and he 100% belongs in the Chasm. Like, I love it so much.
You can tell this guy's got he's gonna be like an actual good guy. They set him up. They set him up to be like the moment he walks in, he's just smoking a cigarette. He's like, "Hey, cabron, what do you think you're doing here?" And then it just goes, vampire cop. You know, it's like, vampire cop. And it just like goes like straight up like that Miami Vice type stuff. It's like,
like goes across the screen.
And it's just,
camera like zooms into his face.
Exactly. And then it just does his entire backstory in the smoke, and it just like speeds it up. It's so funny. It gets so amazing. Good. This is what was that movie? It was like there was that cheesy movie that was called like Super Cop or something. I can't remember. It was gonna have a sequel and then it got canceled.
Oh, they're the cop superhero or whatever?
No. It was
never mind. I'm thinking of something else.
It was like oh god, I can't remember what it was called. It was like vampire. It wasn't Vampire Cop, but it was something along those lines. And it was just the dumbest thing ever. But it was like Brutal Fury or something. I don't know. It was ridiculous. It was made to be as over the top that it was so over the top. It took like 80s movies and then pushed it to where it became funny. And I think this does that a lot.
Shit. Hell yeah.
Yeah, this goes straight in, and this story is full exploitation. This is horror exploitation to the best degree, and that's why like normally a lot of this like bad Reddit writing would like kind of annoy the shit out of me and pull me out of the story, but because it goes to that nth degree of cheese, I think it pulls me back in every time.
This is something that, to me, is so much more fun to read, like, with your friend over webcam, like, passing the story back and forth and stuff like that. Oh, my God, dude, that takes us to such a different level. So, safe to say, Kale here is a rather bizarre case. Will we still put him at a low hurricane, same as Hugo? On the monitor, I could see Kale's lips moving. Wanting to hear what he had to say, I began looking around to see if I could get some audio. It didn't take too long for me to find the volume control panel, which was located right under the middle desk. Thankfully, whoever set this weird place up took the liberty of labeling each switch with its respective monitor. I turned the volume up right in the middle of Kale's spiel.
Danger is come. I'm going to have to dispose of you before it's too late.
Hugo's face remained expressionless.
Scum. An apt description of what one's residing in this place, but I understand that you're also a man wrought with unforgivable sin. I'll treat you no differently.
He responded. Kale chuckled.
Wouldn't expect you not to.
He took a provocative fighting stance.
Come on, Englishman, let's settle this.
Hugo put a hand on his blade cross before muttering another prayer to himself. He looked up at Kale, his eyes now a deep crimson.
The atrocities I commit are only in the pursuit of ultimate holiness. I hope you can understand that.
Kale grinned.
Yeah, I get it. Crazy people are crazy.
As he finished the sentence, he rushed forward in a quick blur, striking his fangs into Hugo's neck. In turn, Hugo grabbed Kale's head and twisted, snapping his neck in what had to be the most gruesome manner feasible before plunging a fist into his chest. Oh no. For the first time, Hugo grimaced.
What's wrong with your heart?
He asked before retracting his hand, revealing severe burn marks. Kale twisted his head back into place before shooting Hugo a bloody grin.
I couldn't tell you, buddy.
They traded blows for a few more minutes, pummeling each other into oblivion. While Kale was certainly more skilled and had more tools at his disposal, Hugo possessed more raw power. This is sexual.
Yeah,
Eventually,
exactly.
it came to a standstill. Kale had suffered upwards of 20 fatal injuries, forcing his regeneration abilities to the brink. Hugo was bleeding all over, had about 6 bone fractures, an eye gouged out, and an ear ripped off.
You're pretty fucking annoying, aren't you?
Kale rasped out. Hugo bent over, coughing up a mouthful of blood.
Likewise.
In the meantime, their confrontation had drawn an audience.
Coming in from an intersecting corridor was the Infernal Gladiator, standing at 6'7", 200 centimeters, 285 pounds, 129 kilograms. He was a high hurricane. Imagine an extremely buff zombie that perpetually was burning, clad in ancient gladiator gear. That was him. In one of his hands, he gripped a gigantic flaming sword. In the other, he held 2 leashes, both respected voids at the neck, crawling at his feet like dogs straight from hell. I do love the fact that it's just Danny McBride in Gladiator.
Yeah.
Here. It's just Danny McBride just like, what's wrong with you guys? You guys are the assholes. I
also wonder, like, if these guys just, like, got on the leashes. If he was just like and like the freak and you know, like all these things come over here to him.
Yeah.
Or if there's been other. I mean, we know that there are some other fights going on off camera, but like maybe they're just not as interesting.
Maybe he just like one punch both of these guys and put them in chains. He's like, "You're my."
Yeah. He just like gave them one good slapping, like, and now it's like the Three Stooges.
Exactly. One was the freak, standing at 6'10", 208 centimeters, 253 pounds, and 115 kg. A slouching humanoid monster with a strange flickering eyes and a grin that wrapped around his entire head. The other was the humanish centipede, standing in at 6'4", 193 centimeters standing height, 372 pounds, 169 kilograms. A centipede-like creature that had a vaguely human face covered with 6 eyes and with an iron muzzle obscuring the mouth area. It crawled on 10 colossal veiny arms. Those are definitely penises.
Everything veiny.
Everything veiny. You gotta have veins.
Everything.
Yeah, he's just saying, more veins. We need more veins.
Maybe if we go down to the comments, that's what people are saying.
Yeah,
like,
more
this
veins.
story's great, but we need more veins.
More veins. I got a fever. The only fever's more veins.
More veins.
Hey, that last take was perfect. We need more veins. They both were mid-tornadoes, not tornado tier, not incredibly powerful. They were merely simply aggressive beasts that possessed nothing but primal bloodlust and strength that was comparable to 3 wild bears put together. For that reason, they were easily converted into disposable weapons by the much stronger and more intelligent gladiator. Fucking hell.
Kale said upon seeing the trio.
That's fucking disgusting. Bloody abominations.
Hugo added.
Nothing but creatures that stain this earth.
They both locked eyes. They both looked at each other and nodded, an explicit sense of mutual understanding between them. I suppose that a few of the voids teaming up should have been inevitable.
Oh boy, this is eating up.
I said, turning towards Sandy.
Oh shit.
Hi, bud. This is heating up.
He didn't respond at first, instead looking as if he were trying to focus on something that wasn't the screen.
What the hell's the matter?
I asked him.
I think there might be somebody else in here. Don't turn around. Just keep watching. Pretend like you didn't hear it.
He replied, hardly above a whisper. It's not like I had to pretend.
Hear what?
I thought to myself. Nevertheless, I'd never Seeing Sandu more serious, I turned my attention back to the monitors while forcing my ears to be alert. About 10 seconds later, I heard it. It was soft for sure. I wasn't surprised that I hadn't noticed it up until that point. Somewhere in the darkness behind us, somebody was definitely trying to contain a giggle.
Oh, dude, I love it. This is
I love it
like
so much.
this is obvious. Like, I think there's a difference between a video or like a story that's trying to be good that's bad, and there's this, right? This knows it's bad. It's very aware it's bad, and it doesn't care. It doesn't care, and it keeps doubling down, and that's the fun of it. I feel like there might be people who like go into this one like, oh, but I want to get scared, and it's like, this is not that story, pal. This is that one that you put on. This is Toxic Commando, brother.
It really is. This is just for us to laugh over, root for certain people, do the voices. Like this is what this is completely geared for, man. Like we're
100%,
not. If you're getting scared over this, then there's nicer parts of Reddit for you to go to.
Yeah, exactly, dude. What is it? Why my girlfriend cucked me for the 7th time? Or
there you go.
Am I the asshole for punching my mother in the face or whatever?
Dude, all right. So what do we think of the last ones that we have to rank are Infernal Gladiator, Freak, Humanish Centipede.
I mean, I'm gonna say those are the other two are fodders. They're fodders, and then
they're like Trench level almost. Well, no, because they're not as annoying as Trench, so they'll just be F tier. Yeah. All right. So
they're just fodder. I mean, we put Bonko or whatever that Serbian was in F tier. So, and they're not much better than him.
True.
So. And I think the Gladiator can get, I don't know, C or A. That's up to you on that one.
I think that.
Do you think we should wait on the Gladiator because he might do something really cool that like gets?
You're right. Actually, we haven't seen him too much in action. He's just walked in with his sex slaves.
But the other two sex slaves are so lame, and they like reaffirm how lame they are. So
absolutely.
And it's called the Human-ish Centipede because he was scared of copyright.
Dude, what the fuck is the Freak supposed to be, by the way? We get nothing on the Freak besides he's just a creepy man. This dude is like
strange, he's flickering eyes, and he's the Babadook, bro.
The Babadook? Okay.
Maybe,
I can see why he's the Freak.
Wait, there was another one. There's like a Hulu one with like a big face. I always see it when I'm like going through Hulu. And there's this guy with a big white face and a big grin. And I don't know, it's based off of like a creepypasta too. I've never seen it, but it looks
I think I know what you're talking about.
That's kind of what I'm picturing. That's what I'm picturing. Just a lame, like
this guy is like a low effort creepypasta. This is like there's a face on like in the dark. That's it. It's just
Jeff
this guy.
The Killer on a gimp rope. That's all it is.
Gimped, dude. No way.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna hold out and think that the Infernal Gladiator could do some pretty cool stuff before we're over with him. It does look like. See, the S bracket filled up kind of quick.
Well, I mean, it hit you with the Sendu Vampire Cop and the Brutal Bishop. Like, obviously, after reading for 30 minutes of how cool those other two guys are. They automatically get the top tier because they're meant to be cool. They're meant to be S tier. They're setting it up for them to like get in a cool fight with the Gladiator. That's obviously where this is going. That they're gonna team up. They're the unlikely duo. They're the nice guys. Oh my god, dude. Wait. If instead of in the movie The Nice Guys, instead of Ryan Gosling, it was Antonio Banderas. Because I'm picturing the Bishop as Russell Crowe.
Yeah, that one totally. And that one absolutely fits.
It also works for my shitty British accent because it turns into Australian a lot, and that's what his turns into every single time.
Very, very good.
So I'm covering my bases. Like I'm literally in my head, I'm thinking they call me Mr. Knife.
Yeah, dude. Yes.
So the Brutal Bishop and Vampire Cop are just like perfect cheese buddy cop. Robert Rodriguez, prime Robert. This is Once Upon a Time in Mexico stuff going on right now with those two guys.
Yeah, it is like Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
It's Nice Guys meets Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and they're just there, right? They're just there, and I love that they're setting up a dynamic for that, and I really want to see them fight this Gladiator guy. because like that's the perfect amount of cheese. We're gonna get so much great Antonio Banderas lines, and like, I'm a priest. I like do priest things. Ugh.
Yeah, that's why he's down here, for doing too much priest things. But also, I noticed that this was a super polarizing entry. Like, we filled up F with Trench, Satanbot, and S tier gets 3 entries: Vampire Cop, Senju, Brutal Bishop. Nobody gets added A and C tier.
Well,
so we started off kind of.
I think I overbuy is Senju. I think I strong arm Senju into S because like the veins overwore me, dude. I was like, I'm
a fan of a veiny guy too. Like that definitely am.
Dude, I'm thinking of Stallone, Rocky Balboa,
and Exit.
Yeah, he did it.
His exit was amazing.
His head explodes.
He won the fight and then just. Yeah.
I mean, he is really cool.
Shit-ass Satanbot comes in.
Well, the thing that's cool about him, too, I will give Senju a little bit more of a break in the fact that he is, he's set up to be something bigger, and it's kind of cleverly written in the way that he's set up to be something bigger, and they kill him off. So it is kind of a rug pull, which makes him cooler, which I like. Like, especially when this is written so cliche and so B-movie, that it hits you with like the cool guy and then blows up his head. Yes, it's a cliche, but it also it kind of hits you from left field. Do you think Senju's
That's a welcome
be
story beat. That's definitely a welcome thing, and it's also like Satanbot could have absolutely comprehended his Wraith style, and then just shot him right in the fucking head. Yeah. Like that's the answer to it. Other people are like, "How do we get past the demon? How do we get past the?"
Well, I also think the fact that
missile?
What?
I said, and Satanbot's just like homing missile.
Yeah, homing missile.
Like, that's it.
Well, I think also, like, if I was writing this story, if I was writing it, right, and I had written this cool Senju character with this amazing fight, over-the-top amazing fight, right, and then I hit it with Satanbot was the only thing I could think of. Like, I'm not going to have Satanbot toe-to-toe with the cool guy I wrote. I'm just going to have Satanbot make a big entrance and then put him in my back pocket for later until I figure out how to make him less gay.
That's true, because they did not do himself any favors showing up and basically just being the robot devil from Futurama, but like fat,
oh my god, he is.
Guns.
Oh my god, he is, dude. He's
just
Futurama meets South Park.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. That just made him 10 times worse.
Oh my god, dude.
Okay.
He deserves, like, F tier so bad, dude. He sucks so bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, he's never getting out of there now. He's never getting out. He can do, like, 20 cool things in a row.
Yeah, he's cooked, bro. Brother sucks.